Welcome to the clinical cookout. You know you need it, it's kinda scary, but mental health is necessary. Four educated queens taking the lead, hold their hands and they'll help you succeed. Lay your head back, relax, just like that. Now listen to, learn, and your problems will burn away. Cookout, you know, we got just what you need. At the cookout, your heart and mind we will be. At the cookout.
This podcast is for educational purposes only. We are qualified clinicians who will cover various topics on mental health and will sometimes provide community resources. We are not being paid by any organization for our content, and any information we provide is general and pertains to our own personal experiences. We do not provide psychotherapy, diagnoses, or treatment recommendations on air. Any concerns related to your individual mental health should be directed to your medical and mental health professionals. We are not responsible for others' decisions or the subsequent consequences.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Clinical Cookout. This week for our hot sauce, we will be discussing, does your partner have to know what to buy you on holidays? And since Valentine's Day is coming up, that's specifically what we're going to talk about. So I want to ask the aunties, does your husband have to know what to buy you on Valentine's Day? Should you tell him, or should he already know?
Well, it's a double answer for me. Nobody should already know anything because nobody can read your mind. I'm a big person, a big communicate what you desire type of person. However, I don't want to always have to tell you what to get me because that removes you from having to put in your own thought. And if a gift for me, gifts are about the thought. So if I gave you the thought, it ain't your thought. So I shouldn't have to always tell you. So that's where I'm at. I don't want to have to always tell you. And good thing with Elijah, he listens very well, even when I think he's not. So if I said I wanted something back in June, he actually remembers that, and I'll see it at Christmas or my birthday. Like he pays attention to when I say, "Oh, I need one of those," or "That's cute," or he'll pay attention to stuff like that. So I guess I'm lucky in that sense because I have verbalized it, but not directly to him, and he remembers.
Well, my answer has something to do with childhood because I think it depends on how that person was brought up. Of course, we can learn new patterns of behavior, but I came from a family where we celebrated all holidays like big time. Like your birthday, Valentine's Day. Even my parents would buy me stuff for Valentine's. Like it was every holiday was a whole thing. Then my partner came from a family where holidays is like, they'll celebrate if everybody's together, but it's not like everybody intentionally makes an effort to like be there and like do something together. So, of course, having to unlearn that is going to be very difficult. So, I don't always expect my partner to know exactly what I want and for what holiday or whatever. But there are some times where it's like nice to like, wait and see what happens. But see, that wait and see can get you disappointed real quick. So you might as well just vocalize.
I like to vocalize. Oh, first of all, we don't be like, it's Valentine's Day, we have to do something special. Because we just do things anyway. But like what we've started doing is like I make sure, because it wasn't done for me, that my husband gets the girl stuff. And then that way, so they kind of have the expectation of you should be celebrated. But I never was with a partner that I had to tell that. So my love language is a big deal because my love language is gifts. If I get a gift, I feel super special. My husband is a very good gift giver. He will buy, I have to tell him, pull back sometimes. Like $280 for flowers is ridiculous and I don't like it. So I don't have a problem in that respect. But I also don't have a problem vocalizing, saying like, I want a bracelet. Because as a person whose love language is gifts, don't bring me nothing I don't want. So if I want something specific, I'll be like, I want this, and you can get it to me for Valentine's Day. Or you can get it to me for Christmas. Or you can do that. Like, I don't mind doing that.
Now, see, I do like that, Auntie Shug, because if you have a partner who is very particular about what they do like, they need to just go on and tell you what they like. Like Elijah is super particular. He's not gonna pretend to like something that he don't. So I know all the things that he likes. So that's where I stay, in that realm of things that he likes. But to Auntie Amber's point, you do have to consider background. Did this person celebrate holidays or not? If that's not what they used to, then you may have to do that. You may have to have the little reminders here and there. But also, holidays, like Amber said, her family did it big for all the holidays. I enjoy holidays, but I also enjoy random gifts on a Tuesday. So I don't want it to just be, oh, I only get gifts on the holidays. They're not that important. It's more special to me to get a gift on a random day because you're thinking about me randomly.
Now I'm curious, Keish, because you single. So what that look like out there?
Yeah, I am single, so I'm gonna have to go about it a different way. I think that there's a combination of what all y'all said that I do go by, and I think that you should know what I want. But I feel like that should be like in the beginning, we should be getting to know each other. Like, so obviously you're not going to know everything until you're around me. We're with each other all the time. But I do like an attentive man. There's nothing more sexier to me than an attentive man. And if you're listening to what I say, like if I say, like you said, Chuck, like, oh, I like that. I may not say I want it for Valentine's Day, but I might like look at something or like mention I like it and move on. I need you to make a mental note of that. Um, and don't get me wrong, before the fellas eat me up, I go all out for Valentine's Day if I'm with my partner. Like one year I printed out my ex-boyfriend's Facebook statuses and printed them and put them on each side of the box, basically all the favorite things that he talked about. And then I bought him, like in the big box, I bought him what he had wanted. But he didn't know I was going to do that. But I like to be thoughtful, and I expect my partner to be thoughtful. I do think if it's something specific, you can, tell them what it is that you like. But I do like attentive and generous men. I do think there's a component that Amber added with knowing how somebody got brought up or was raised. And sometimes I think people don't think about that often, but I do think that's something that's important when you are buying gifts for somebody, even somebody that could even trigger somebody. And you just never know. So I do think that's a good component to note, Auntie Amber. So yeah.
Yep, and I'm a little I don't want to use the word petty, but it's a little petty because I'm the reciprocal energy type of person.
Mhm.
So I have had in the past, actually like maybe twice, where I waited to see what this person got for me or did for me on a holiday before I presented mine because I am a big gift giver. I'm a people pleaser, right? So I'm attentive, I'm thoughtful. My partner, not so attentive, not so thoughtful. But if I mention something like repetitively over the next like 3 months, then like he starts to get it. But so yeah, I'll wait and see. And I'm like, okay, if you went all out, then I'm gonna go ahead and bust out everything I did. And if not, then these other things are gonna have to wait. You're gonna get one thing or two things. So I am a little petty in that respect. Because I'm not about to come with all of this and you coming with that little bit of effort. Like we're not doing that. So it's gotta match for me.
You killing me talking about some. I'm reciprocal energy. You petty. But
I don't see it as petty.
Your honesty.
reciprocal energy.
I appreciate your honesty.
I don't see it as petty. I'm like, hey, we talk about relationships being transactional. That's the definition of it. Like, I'm not about to give you 200 and you give me 5. That ain't how it's going. I feel it, Amber. I'm with you. I don't think
And
it's
let
petty.
me be clear, it's not down to the dollar amount for me. It's more of the thought and the effort. So if you know that I really enjoy, flowers and like quality time at a specific place, like going out or whatever, and you come with something like that and you've planned it out, like I like for things to be planned out too. So, cause that's my little anxiety. But if you've planned out a date or something like that, even if you spent only like $20-$30 on the date and I spent $200 on mine, if the thought is there and the effort is there, I'm coming with it. But if you just made a little reservation or something and you did it last minute, and I could tell you did it last minute because we get there and we still waiting in line, and that's when I'm gonna be like, no, like I'm not doing it. So it don't have to be equal. Just
I had to learn to pull it back a bit, because when we talk about upbringing, um it was a big thing. Like, I wasn't brought up like that. I don't need all of that. That's you need all of that. I don't. So for me, like, I was throwing crazy birthday parties and inviting a bunch of people over, and it was not appreciated. And so I was thinking, you're unappreciative. But it was brought to my attention, are you loving how I want to be loved, or how you loving me how you want to be loved? So I had to kind of learn to ask for what you need and ask for what you want. And just because your love language is gifts, that's not mine. Mine is acts of service. So what I started doing is incorporating the gifts in acts of service. So, doing little things like spreading rose petals out, put the fireplace on the TV, and like give out a massage. That's an act of service, and that was a gift for him. So things, I had to change it up to incorporate his love language.
Yes, yes. Something I always tell people to keep in mind, because I've heard it's been said to me, you want to give somebody was like, I just want to give you the world. Did I ask for the world or did I ask for you? I didn't ask for the world. So see, you giving me the world, but that's not what I'm asking you for. I'm a words of affirmation person. The world ain't what I want. I want you to affirm me. So you have to really know your partner. You have to know yourself as well. Um, and honestly, with the whole thing with gifts, just understand that whatever it is, if it's a problem, communicate it. That's all. Communicate it. Whatever it is, if something is wrong in this area and that's something you need, just communicate it. But with that, while we are talking about gifts and such, let's spin this around to now being single, because like Auntie Keish gave her answer for when she with a partner, and she said, yeah, when I'm with somebody. But what about that? How does it feel to be that single person amongst coupled friends? How does that feel? How do we maneuver that?
At the cookout, we got just what you need. At the cookout, your heart and mine, we will be
Hot off of our hot sauce. Now we want to get into the main dish, which is, how do you maneuver being single when all of your friends are partnered? How do you maneuver that? How do you maneuver that as the friend that is partnered, like all the friends that are partnered? How do you consider your single friends? And then for that single friend, like, what is that? What does that feel like? And we've all been in both positions at one point or another.
I'll go first since I'm the single lady, the single auntie. I don't get, I respect all my friends who are in marriages and have children. And for me, I know the life for me. I'm very self confident in who I am and where I want to be. So I don't never get upset about, my friends being married, having kids, having a partner. I actually celebrate the love. I think it makes our relationship even better when I celebrate my friends, like celebrate their love, supportive of their love with one another. So that's not a big deal to me in that aspect. I only get like caught in the crosshairs when I want to do something with my single friends. And I think one of the things, and this has just been happening the last few weeks, um, I realized that I miss my friends more than what I thought. And that has been a really, really hard reality for me. And so it has nothing to do with, oh, I wish I had a family, I wish I had a baby or anything like that. It's more of, I don't have anybody to hang out with. And it's not it and it should I just been in a actually I've been in a weird place for years, for a few years. I just didn't say anything about it, but like these last couple weeks have gotten to me, because I think I have put other people as a placeholder. But there's nothing like your friends. And so I think I put other people in that place as a placeholder and didn't realize that when that situation ended. And then I'm like, oh shoot, like what am I supposed to be doing right now? And I know it sounds weird because I know people may be like, well, you grown, like go out there and do something. And I know I can, but it's nothing like hanging with your friends. And so I just feel like at this moment, I feel a little confused and I feel a little lost on how to navigate being the single friend with married friends. But in the same sense, I still love the fact that my friends are married with children. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but I just don't know where my place is at. And I am stuck in the whole, you need to call them, y'all need to like set up dates, times, and stuff like that. And then I do that, and then that it's well, I don't know if I can do this. And then if I don't call, it's like, well, why you ain't called? Where you been at? And I'm like, what y'all want me to do? You know? So I don't know. I'm just in a weird place right now. So yeah, I am trying to do the best I can in this navigation. Okay.
I think that's common, Keish. I used to have a friend who she was single, and everybody around was married, and yeah, I think it was hard for her, not because she just wanted to be married so bad, but it was because it was like there's two different lifestyles that happens.
Yes.
So you're like, it's weird being in two different spots, kind of like when your friend has a baby and you don't have any kids, and now their life has changed, but your life is still, kind of where it was, and so
Right.
it's difficult to incorporate their normal into your normal because they're on two different spectrums.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But
I
what
would
about like
agree.
compartmentalizing the relationship?
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Like, what about compartmentalizing the relationship, like, or compartmentalizing friends? Kind of like, so I have a compartments of friends. Like, I have
Mm-hmm.
my super hyper Christian friends, and then I
Mm-hmm.
have my regular just married friends, and then I don't know if I had too many single friends. No, I have my single friends too, and I have my friends that want to go on trips. You know what I mean? So like, I kind of operate in different spaces depending on what I'm kind of thinking of doing at that time.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to revise the plan. I never had to. I've never had to. And I think I just, along the way, I was always either dating somebody, kicking it with somebody. So it wasn't really a big deal. But now that I'm like older and like my friends are like, just settled in where they're at. And I'm just like, okay, this isn't going the way I thought it was going to go. So you're right. I need to just pivot is what I call it. I need to pivot in a different direction, but I never want to feel like I'm leaving my friends. Like, that's a hard thing for me to accept because a lot of my friends I've been friends with for over 15, 20 years. So it's
I
really
don't
hard.
think I don't think your friends will feel like that because this kind of reminds me like what Auntie Sugar is saying. Like when you have a baby, um, I for me, I started to learn who my real like true friends were because you have your compartments of friends. I call my party friends. Those are the ones that are just like they're not meaningful friendships, but I know I can hit you up if I want to have a good time type of friends. But those friends didn't last through me having children because they couldn't understand that that was my priority. I can't go out and party every weekend or every other weekend. And so they didn't last. And now I feel like I have only two single friends that have held on for the past, what, 10 years and, or 8 years since I have my daughter. And yeah, it's because they understand. Like, we cannot talk for like months at a time. Like I think the one friend that I was supposed to go to Houston with recently, I hadn't talked to her in months. Like it had been like over probably over a year. And when she hit me up, that's when I'm like, okay, now I'm in a place where we can actually go do something. And so that year of not talking to her, it wasn't even a thought to me like she doesn't want to be my friend anymore, like she's, leaving me or anything like that. It was just more of
Right.
like she we both kind of understand I can't move like she can move. So she doing her thing and whenever the time comes, we're going to come back together, but there's no hard feelings about it. So the fact that you're even asking this question means that you are a true friend and I don't think they're going to feel like you're leaving them even if you decided to like, back off for a little while.
Yeah. It's been a it's been a rocky road the last few years, especially during the doctorate program. And I think that that's also played a part in my loneliness because I was the only one getting a doctorate and they didn't understand like what that process is like. No, I feel like nobody understands unless you in the program. And like I feel like that's how me, all of us connected because we understood that there was something that brought us together to understand like our struggles and stuff like that. So we just held on to each other, and I don't think my friends understood that. And then I got in a relationship, and then I stayed with this person, still friends, and I think that just you know how something is happening to you, but you don't want to face it, so you put something else in the place of it, and it isn't until it has to come to that point is when it comes to reality. And I think that's what happened a couple weeks ago. That I didn't want to face that. I didn't want to. I didn't want to admit that I was feeling lonely. I didn't want to admit that. And that's a really hard thing to admit when you have all these friends and nobody knows how you feel, but you're like, okay, I don't want to say nothing because now I'm going to look selfish. Now it's going to look like it's all about me when I know it's not, but it's just a really crazy place to be in. That's all.
Whew. Okay, I agree with points that everybody made. I think it changes over time. So
Mm.
I was one of the first friends in our whole friend group, both his and mine. We were one of the first ones married. I think Suge was the only person I had that was married before me, and then it was me. But I was the first to have a baby. So like Auntie Amber said, once you become a parent, you find out who your friends are. So I was the first to have a baby, second one out of all of our friends to get married. And it changed the dynamics. And it's also a dynamic of when you the first one to be married or have a baby and everybody else is still single. That's a different feeling too, because you feel on that end of they don't understand me and they don't understand I don't have the same priorities or the same type of time, things like that. So it goes both ways in there. But now I've always been very intentional about including and remembering my single friends at all times because those of the ones who were intentional about remembering me, like, yo, remember to call Ashley even if she can't go, just at least call. Like that was important to me because for a minute it was like people wasn't my friends was like, no, she got the baby now, like just don't even bother her. I'm like, well damn, I still want to feel like y'all want me there. So are y'all thinking about me? Because that's my thing. I just want to feel included, like you thinking about me, even if I can't come. So I'm very intentional with my single friends. Like now, I think I only have maybe one or two single friends. Everybody is partnered or married in some way. But it often only comes up for me now, like if we have a specific couples situation. Like when you taking a couples trip, then it's like, do we invite the single friend? Because it's a couples trip. We don't want them to feel like any type of way. And I got some single friends that's like, invite me anyway. Hell, I'm coming. I'll meet a man there. Like that's how they feel. I'll meet somebody there.
I'm that single friend. Invite me anyway, because
Yeah.
I'm gonna be here and there.
Right.
But you know what you get sometimes? Sometimes you get married people who are very insecure in their relationships and they do not want single people around.
That's where I
So,
was going to.
and yeah, that stems from insecurity or my man always looking at something. And if you get a single friend that's cute, don't have a single friend that's cute because it's a threat. So we were at like living in overseas, and I had a friend, very pretty girl. Nobody wanted her around because she was single. And it was like, oh, I don't do single chicks around my man. So me and my husband, we don't care about none of that because we friends anyway. So we just include her. We argue in front of her. We live in front of her. When we had a baby, she was taking trips with us because it was kind of like she was a leper. So just like, not wanting to make somebody feel like they're a problem just because they haven't found somebody to partner with. Because then if you
That's
just
just
partner
a
with
good point.
anybody, we're gonna have something to say.
That's such a good point, Shug. And I think a lot of people don't understand how single people kind of get the short end of the stick sometimes. You know what I mean? And that's not of a fault of our own. Like we're just like, hey, we just want to be included. So when Ashley said, I just want to feel included sometimes, I never thought of it from the perspective of somebody who's the first one married or the first one have a baby who still wants to feel included. And it opened my eyes to maybe my friends want to feel that way too. Maybe they're like, because I did have one of my friends, y'all know, y'all met Shay, and she was like, girl, we just be living vicariously through you. Like, we just be watching your Snapchats and whatever you be doing, we live through you. And I never think about that as far as like them wanting to feel included or them, missing maybe they're not single days, but like them being able to just go out and do whatever. So, dang,
Keisha,
that's
when
such a
you
good.
came to visit,
Yes, because
oh my bad. The last time you came to visit and we went to the like the fair and stuff like that,
We
just
went
me, you and
where?
Abe, when we went to the fair, we went to the
Oh
Revel.
yeah.
Just me, you and Abe went. And there was
Yep.
no weirdness. It was just like it's like I won't say a throuple, but it was just like a group of friends. Like
To clear up for the audience, I am not sleeping with Suge and her husband. Okay, I just want everybody to know I am not sleeping with Auntie Suge and her husband. Okay,
It
we
was
didn't
just
we couldn't find the word. But
we
I'm
all,
not
we
sleeping.
all went as friends. All three of us were together. We was married, and she was our friend. But we all had a good time together. There was no weirdness.
Yeah, Abe's a good dude. Like it makes me feel invited. Like it ain't never no shady shit. Like it ain't never nothing like that. And those are the only type of friends I want to be around. I don't want to be around no chick who's sitting over here talking about, well, you can't be around my husband. Girl, I don't want him. Girl, I don't want him. And I'm a true friend, so I'm gonna fuck with you. If I fuck with the homegirl, I'll fuck with you. Like, it ain't gonna be no shady shit. Like, I don't be on that. I don't know. I don't be on that. Have I made mistakes in the past on not with people's husbands? Not with people's husbands. But I've learned my lesson to be a better friend. To be a better friend. But nah, I ain't gonna do no shit like that. Hell no.
Well, I just wanted to speak back to being invited to stuff because I'm just gonna talk about your birthday and how you had this whole plan and they invite not near one of your married friends. And when you mentioned it, I was like, hold up, I'm coming too. And then Shug was like, well, shoot, I'm coming too. So yeah, I mean, we do want to be included in stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like even if you don't think that we're
Yeah.
gonna make it, just
And I
invite. You'll
just
be
assume y'all
surprised.
Literally disincluded, and she had more married friends there than single friends. Wow.
Yes. And
okay.
still had a blast. Best
Y'all are right.
best trip ever.
Typically, I would try to navigate out of this conversation and not be held accountable. But at this point, I need to be held accountable, and I will take my accountability on that. And that's something I told y'all. I'm trying to navigate it the best I can. I got a friend down the street who got a baby too. Well, he's 5, and she was like, "Why don't you ever call me and ask me to do something?" And I was like, "Well, because you have a child." She was like, "The most I can say, Keisha, is no, and I'm be open the next weekend. He go see his dad every other weekend." She's like, you can just text me if you want to do something. And I'm just like, I used to be at home. And I just assume people can't go or don't want to go. So that's why I never asked y'all, because I was like, they would never fly to Dallas and kick it with me. And you know what? I'm glad y'all called me out because you just came and we had a fucking blast.
We did.
But you know what? That's another thing. Not even considering people in couples and with kids. Life be lifing. Like everybody in my life is busy. It's like scratch the family and the partners, busy in general with their career or trying to make moves or whatever. Like people are busy. So sometimes when you constantly have that person in your life who they're always busy, you start to pull back from asking them because it's like they always busy, so I'm gonna do it. So we just have to be intentional about we don't know what phase people are in life, regardless of their partner status or parenthood status. We don't know what phase they're in. So you kind of have to always check in with your friends. Like, like we tell people, test the temperature of your relationships. You don't know where it's at any given point. It was very different when I got married at I was 22, 23 when we got married, I think. It was very different then, or how old was it? Something like that. It was different in my early 20s versus now almost 40. Life looks different. It looks very different. And the things we all like are different. Like Auntie Suge don't prefer no club. So if it's a club event, it's got to be a very special event for Auntie Suge to want to come. But I know that about her. So I know with Suge, if I'm planning to go somewhere, I'm going to call Suge if I'm traveling because Suge going to want to travel. But if I want to just hang out at a bar or something, I got other friends that's what they enjoy. If I want a game night at home, I got people like you have to just test the temperature of your friends and where everybody is at. And I think people need to just be more intentional about that. Whether you have single friends, married friends, parent friends, whatever, just be more intentional about it and talk to your friends.
I do have something to say to that effect. Sometimes you do double things too. So like if you were to say, I'm going out to dinner and then I'm going out to the club, and then like kind of giving somebody the option to do both. Because I might be like, I'll go out to dinner, but I'm not gonna sit in the dark with a whole bunch of people I don't know. And so, you know what I mean? You might do one or the other. But y'all, let me tell y'all what itches my anus. And I gotta say it because it's been getting on my nerves. Invite me. I'ma say no, but invite me. Stop doing this. It's childish. Some people want to be invited just to say no. And I'm not doing that. So it's like, if I think that you want to be there or you want to celebrate with me, yes. But that invite me so I can say no is mad corny. It's so corny. And then like with people, they know that they're not gonna want to go. They know that they don't want to really be around other people. They know that being around certain people is gonna cause conflict. You do have the option to say no, but you also have the option not to get mad so if somebody doesn't invite you because you want to be able to say no. Because that's a new thing on social media, like, and people
Yeah.
think it's cute. Invite me. I'm gonna say no, but invite me. No, I'm not. Because I've invited people to parties over and over and over and over again, and they didn't show up, and I was like, you know what? Eventually your invite is gonna get rescinded. So we gotta think about stuff like that too.
True. Let me be clear for y'all on here and for my friends in the world around. Invite me because I really want to be there. I always want to be there.
Yeah.
I'm an extroverted person. Now, can I be there is different from I want to be there. I want to be everywhere. I'm extroverted. I can't always come though, but invite me anyway. I don't be wanting to say no. I be having to say no. That's different.
Okay. I think another thing we got to stop doing is assuming that we know what people like and what they don't like. I just talked to Ashley about this yesterday. Like, we were talking about piercings. And she was like, I would have never thought you. And I'm like, what makes you think you know people that deeply? Or not remembering people. I ain't trying to throw shade at, but not remembering like what people been through or who they are, or just assuming that you've been on the road with them to whereas you know everything that they would like and don't like. Because Amber and Keish was like, I didn't know you listen to hot girl music, and I'm like, do y'all know where I'm from? Like, I am
Well,
really
after I seen you on the front of that boat, I ain't questioning nothing else.
Hey, I've been trying to think about your spiritual side because I'd be like, Suge don't do no
Maybe.
mess. So I can't be
Yeah.
having her in no mess.
And me, I was just
I don't do
forgetful.
mess. Certain stuff like I won't do a lot. I won't do mess, but it's not necessarily because I'm super hyper religious. It's because I've been partying since I was 14 years old. So that's another thing too. Is like at the time where people were laying up with their mother watching movies, I was doing other stuff. So sometimes people live a lot faster than other people, and I'm just not enamored anymore. So I think
Okay,
that's
you
what
right. You right. My fault. My fault.
There's
And
still
to my
is, like,
credit,
there's still that side, like, to where it's like, you don't know me for real. Our point is, don't assume that you know what people are going through. Don't assume that you know who people are, because everybody is multifaceted. People have different people live different in different areas of their life, but it doesn't mean they might not be able to pull out something that you didn't know was in there. And if you're single or if you're married, just remember to be inclusive of your friends. So now we talked about some plans that we got coming up in October. We got a whole bunch of plans coming up in June or July. So we gonna continue talking, but we just want to know what y'all about to do.